Hi everyone. Hope everyone is doing well, thinking, doing, hoping. Today I want to talk about re-engineering culture. We all know what is culture. Culture is really how we collectively think, behave, do, relate, and deliver either an experience or an outcome. Simply put, that's culture, right? Now, how do you re-engineer? And what does culture re-engineering truly seek to do? Many organizations, especially in COVID times and post-COVID times, with the disruption in business models, with changes in demand patterns, in terms of huge stakeholder trapeze movements being haywire, you will need to address this issue of your organization culture. I don't think you can stay with it anymore. So to me, culture re-engineering is really about true inclusiveness. True inclusiveness for all stakeholders, where everyone connects, collaborates, and co-creates an experience, an outcome, delivers a promise that each one believes I had a stake in, I owned, I co-owned. And it is very easy to say this, but it is really what great organizations of tomorrow will need to do, re-engineer their cultures. Even if you look within, I think employees must really see culture re-engineering as a truly equal opportunity ecosystem. While we say that it is we are an equal opportunity employer, it really doesn't play out that way. There are many said and unsaid assumptions and biases, many unconscious ones, which do not make cultures really inclusive. And when you therefore re-engineer your organizational culture, you must truly make it inclusive. And to me, inclusion is where everyone believes that every job is up for grabs, and I have an opportunity, a possibility of working towards that. There are no promises, there are no commitments, but it's possible. The other big thing that I think cultures, when they re-engineer, would be that these are ecosystems where mistakes are not just tolerated, they are truly valued. In VUCA times, there is no ready-made cookie-cutter answer. There is just no one single way of doing things. And I'm not talking about compliance and safety here. I'm talking about ideations for business, delivery of business, reimagining every facet of an organizational life. Mistakes with hindsight would have happened. Now, do you flay the guy and therefore send a message that this is not a place where you can try to use your mind? Now, that will create one kind of culture. But truly egalitarian, evolved cultures, re-engineered cultures would be where you are encouraged to make mistakes. Don't get me wrong, it's not to be stupid, but it is okay to make bona fide mistakes. We won't make it a second time. But at the same time, the organization guarantees that there are no scapegoats. Everyone has an opportunity of learning and contributing to making the ecosystem a far more vibrant and a richer workplace to be in. The third dimension of culture re-engineering that I think organizations and practitioners may want to think about really are career paths as great stories. What is very uplifting, energizing is when you talk about careers of people. It is not about what will happen with you, but how have people in this organization built careers beyond tenures, beyond loyalty? How have you made merit the fulcrum of careers? And if you can talk about these stories and make people believe that there is an opportunity for them, they don't have to spend 30 years, they don't have to follow a single beaten track. And there are different ways in which the organization allows career paths to get shaped and co-created is a very powerful aspect of cultural re-engineering. And I know it's not easy because it's always easy to kind of go by what you've done in the past. But I have said this so many times, careers of tomorrow are not going to be built on the molds of yesterday. And it's so very true. And organizations need to think differently, and people in the organization need to think differently, and therefore the culture re-engineering has to happen. I also want to talk about how do you ensure when you're re-engineering cultures that your best guys are willing to take the most risky assignments, where there is no guarantee of success, there's no guarantee of a win, and yet you can guarantee a return for risky assignments. Now it sounds very oxymoronic, all right? If the guy doesn't deliver, how do I do it? But if you play this game, you will create a culture which be a risk avoidance culture. It will not be a re-engineered culture for the new world. You will have to ensure that you somewhere do a stop loss for that guy. You need to generate a certain return for that guy. And that is when your best minds are going to take the best risks. And not all of them will play out. But even if some of them play out, they will actually be far, far more value accretive to the organization than otherwise. And finally, when I talk about culture re-engineering, I would like to re-emphasize that finally it's the moments of truth for an employee in his or her entire employee experience. It is the moments that count. It's not what you say. It is not what happened with someone else. It's the moment for me that matters. Whether it was your hiring experience, your onboarding experience, your performance reviews, your career moments, your rewards and celebration moments, your reprimand moments. This is the moment that matters most to people. And collectively, if you can actually generate moments which guarantee more positive charge, you possibly would have re-engineered culture. But it will need us to change a lot of the way we think and do. Leaders to redo the way they come across, always sitting on the high chair, always yelling, shouting, demanding. That's not the moment that's going to create a very, very reinvigorated culture for tomorrow, where the best minds are going to come and say, I have my space to do my own thing. I get celebrated in the manner that I like. I can grow my career the way at least the possibilities exist for me to grow my careers. So these are 4 or 5 ideas that I wanted to leave behind with all of you, because the simpler things are the ones which you can measure and track on a month-on-month and quarter-on-quarter basis. But what will truly sustain the new successful companies of tomorrow would be those which have used this crisis to reflect and to work on a re-engineering of aspects of their culture which will make them more relevant, more impactful, and more successful for all their stakeholders. And employees happen to be your most important stakeholders. They make the company, they make the institution. So invest in them, invest in making a culture that counts with them, not just a culture that counts with you. Papa does not know best anymore, please remember, right? So you've got to give them that flexibility, you've got to give them that space. And that's really what I'm trying to do with a lot of my clients. When they come and talk about band-aid interventions, I say, you know what, those are very simple to do. But really what you need to think through is your culture re-engineering bit. And that really starts moving your entire people ecosystem, from talent to leadership to your different practices and policies. So I would always look forward, as always, to listen as to how this resonates with you. What are you trying to do in your own little way, in your organization? What are your wins and misses? And together, hopefully, we'll make some more successful enterprises, we'll make more reinvigorated cultures. So good luck and all the very best. Take care.